So very happy afternoon, students. So I believe so all might have had an heavy lunch. Yeah. So can anyone brief what we have seen in the last class? So any volunteers?
The introduction to Agile, and then we spoke about Scrum Master, the product owner, and the cross-functional team.
Okay. So can you tell me what exactly a brief intro about what it is? Product owner, Scrum Master, as well as the cross-functional team.
The Scrum Master is like a team leader who keeps track of the changes and tells the team what to do
Okay.
and make sure that the team follows agile practices.
Okay.
The cross-functional team, like each team has say around 10 members, and there are 4 developers, one tester, one product owner, one Scrum Master, one technical lead,
Okay.
and it's self-sufficient. And the product owner is the person who represents the business and is the voice of the customer.
Okay. Yeah,
And
exactly. Okay.
that's
Fine.
it, sir.
Okay. So we have seen all these things, right? So how basically agile team will work and what's their plan. Okay. So and also we have seen two metrics. One is point. Okay. Always remember, maybe in future we will use these things: point as well as the capacity. Okay. Remember, a point usually clocks to either a day or maybe the working hours in a day. It may be in general. It is considered to be 8 hours. Okay. So that is called as a point. Usually the point refers to a day, I mean the working day or maybe the working hours per day, that is 8 hours. Okay. So with that note, so let us see, so what is user story? So any idea about what is a user story? Because we have seen the same keywords in some other slides. So user story.
It's something similar to a use case. So, a particular story or a workflow of how the user might use the software we're building.
Not exactly, but it relates to that. Okay, so anyway, let me tell you. Okay, so so we have seen for example, we have considered the Zomato application. Okay, so whenever there's going to be any updates. Okay, so once you release a product, so after that what will you do? So you may have some functionalities to be added. So in what way I can represent the add-on or maybe the functionality that is going to be appearing in the upcoming releases. Okay, so we cannot have, for example, if you say, so since we have so many people in our cross-functional team, so everybody should understand, right? If you add or if you bring in some changes, so it should be easy for everybody to understand that change particularly, as well as that change should be converted into a task which a person can do. Okay, so that is the main objective. So whenever you bring in some change, so that change has to be carried out by some person in the form of a task so that you will accomplish your goal. So this is what will happen practically. Okay, so now coming to the user story. So what is a user story? A requirement which defines what is required by the user as a functionality. Okay, so basically you will say, so maybe the product owner will say something. Okay, so like so I want a payment card to be added to my application. If he says that, so payment card is, it's going to be like a functionality which you need to integrate to your application, right? So for that purpose, so anyway, you know, as a developer maybe you will understand. Okay, so the payment gateway is a functionality which can be deployed in these means. Okay, so but it is not so with everybody in your cross functional team. Okay, so that is the prime reason. So for that we have user stories. Okay, so there are two general forms. So one is as mentioned here as a user role. Okay, so whatever you see in the uh, brackets here. Okay, so that will be replaced anyway in the upcoming slide. I have few examples of a user story. Okay, so read through this. So both the forms gives you the same meaning. As a user role, I want particular functionality to be deployed so that I will get some business value. Okay, so whatever functionality you are going to add to your application in your future release, so obviously that will add some business value, right? Without business value, you will not add any functionality to your application. Am I right? Yes or no? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes. So each and every particular statement in your user story will have some business value, because without business value you will not add, you will not call it to be a functionality that needs to be updated. Okay. So general form. So as a user role, so it may be an admin, it may be a developer, it may be a tester, or it may be even a functionality. Okay. Or maybe a role in your business, whatever it may be. Okay. So I want this particular functionality to be deployed or to be integrated or to be developed, okay, so that this kind of business value I will get. Okay, it may be a higher business value or it may be a lower business value. So basically when you say it is having a higher business value, which means that it is going to be like a prioritized task. Okay, so that is the actually the literal truth. So when you say it is having higher business potential, so which means that you should give utmost priority to that task instead of having some task with lower business value. Okay, so this is actually the hidden inference. Okay, so now move on. So this is one form. The other form, so in order to achieve this business value, as a user role I want this functionality to be deployed. Okay, so both sounds like a same statement, but they are written in a different form. Okay, so that's all. These two are the forms in which a user story can be developed. Okay, so remember, so user story will be developed so to achieve, or to maybe in other words, the user story will be developed to accomplish your goals. Okay, when it comes to release. Okay, so all your end goal is to make sure that this user story leads to a proper release with the requirements that have been collected. Okay, fine. So during release planning, a rough estimate is given to a user story using relative scale as points. So this is the place where I told you. So you will generally say, so when you take this user story, so these many points will be required. So point refers to the hours, 8 points, right? 8 hours or maybe a working day. So this is how you will estimate the points. So usually the recommended way of, or the ideal way of using the points is using hours. Okay, so you can represent in days also, but usually you will represent in hours, because when you multiply it with number of resources, so hours will be easier one. Okay, so now, so during the release planning, so whenever you say, okay, so we need to, okay, so there is a release that has been planned maybe today. Okay, so in this release, so these are all the, okay, so okay, fine. So I will tell you one more thing. Okay, so what is a release? So whenever there is an iteration, okay, so once an iteration completes, it is going to give you a release. Okay, so that is what we say to be a release. So it is hiddenly saying that you have completed one iteration. Okay, so one iteration is done, one release is done. Okay, so what should be the next update? Okay, so that is going to be your next iteration, or it's going to be your next release. Okay, so that is what we call it to be a release planning. So for the next release, so what are all the things that we need to accomplish? Okay, so for that you will prepare a user story. Is that clear? So for each release you will prepare a user story. Okay, so the user story will have the components that needs to be addressed for an upcoming release. Fine. So as I told you, so you have planned your user story. So with that user story, you should estimate it. So how long it will take. So you have given these many functionalities, how long it will take for the upcoming release. An estimate should be done. Okay, so that will be done using your points. So during iteration planning, the story is broken down into tasks. Okay, so iteration planning is nothing but, so it's going to be a full process. Okay, in which, so user story will have the whole idea. Okay, so anyhow, the next slide will give you the detailed information about what is a task and what is a user story. Okay, so basically user story is going to tell you, so this is the overall idea, but task will tell you so how you can achieve each and every functionality. Okay, okay, so this is the relationship of your user story and task. So in user story you will talk about what is to be done. Okay, for example, in this form you can see, as a role I want this functionality to be deployed so that I will get some business value. Okay, I don't care about how you are going to deploy this functionality. Okay, I'm just saying I want to deploy, that's all. Okay, I'm not saying how to do that functionality or how you are going to accomplish it. Okay, so that will comes under your task. So task will talk about how it is to be done. So how can you deploy that functionality? Okay, so it defines how functionality is to be implemented. So how part is considered or how part is done only in your task region. Okay, so what part is taken care by your user story. Okay, so this is the main difference. So whenever it comes to a user story, you can see only what. Okay, when it is a task, you will see how. Okay, so this is the basic difference. You always keep it in your mind. So each story is a collection of tasks. So in this figure, as you can see, so one user story can be subdivided into many tasks. Okay, so each task will be estimated using points. Okay, so for example, estimated 8 hours, which means 1 point. So this task 1 will take 1 point. So task 2 will take 0.5 point or half point. Okay, so like that you will estimate. Okay, so stories are implemented by task. So both these points were actually the converse points. Okay, so literally you can say user story is actually subdivided into n number of tasks, because user story will say only what is, how is, it will come under your task. So then, so user story is divided into tasks when it is planned in current iteration. Okay, so this we have already discussed. So similarly, tasks are estimated in hours, typically from 2 to 12 hours. Okay, so basically in hours we will estimate the task, because so each task will have their own specific goals. Okay, so it could be nice if you go with the hours splits. So stories are validated using acceptance test. Okay, so I have a slide. Okay, so where we will see, so when can we say that this task can be accepted? Okay, so basically whenever you have some task, so for each task, so you will go with an acceptance test. So whether this task can be accepted or not. Okay, so basically we'll say if you accept it, so okay, the task has passed. If you don't accept it, so then it comes under fail. Okay, so that is what you will do for all the tasks. Okay, so in other words, maybe a practical example, if you say I need to integrate the payment module, okay, so that is one task. Okay, so as a maybe let us form a user story for that. Okay, so you will write like as a customer I want. Okay, so let us see. So as a customer I want payment functionality to be deployed so that maybe the business value will increase. Okay, so forget about the so that part. Okay, so when I say this, as a customer I want payment functionality. Okay, so what will you do? So in your user story, this is what will happen. But in task, so you will segregate. Okay, you will take out the functionality, the payment gateway, and you will formulate an idea towards this payment gateway. So how can we deploy this particular payment gateway module? Okay, so that you will be formulated as a task. Okay, so task 1 is now formulated. Maybe you will estimate it by hours, 8 hours or maybe to 16 hours or something like that. Okay, so once this is done, so okay, you are saying that okay, so task 1 is completed. Okay, so someone should check this task. Okay, so whether I can accept this task to be a completed one or not. Okay, so maybe Vishnu says that he has done this task. Okay, I should check. Okay, so I will check, so whether this task can be considered to be an accepted task, or I should say no, you have to redo this task. Okay, so that is what we call it as, we call it with the keyword acceptance test. Okay, so if it is fine, if it satisfies the requirement, I will say okay, it is passed. Okay, fine, you go with the next task. Okay, so that's how it happens. Fine. So now, okay, so far we have seen so how you can formulate a user story. So maybe in the next slide we have a sample user story. We will see to that also. Okay, so how you are going to split a user story into tasks. Okay, so these things we have seen. So already I have told you about a scenario, or maybe this keyword, product backlog. So any idea about it? Any idea? Any volunteers? So product backlog.
So basically record of activities, like what all
Okay.
we should do and things like that.
Okay.
Like a list, so basically.
Okay, fine. So any other answers? Any other answers? Okay. Okay, fine. So the name itself will specify you. It is actually a product backlog. Okay, so log means you are going to record everything. Okay, so here, so you will concentrate more about the product. Okay, so I am concerned towards the product. I want the product to be developed. Okay, so that is a basic mindset behind your product backlog. Okay, so what are all the things that needs to be done to achieve or to complete this product? Okay, so that's why we say it to be a product backlog. So product backlog is a dynamic prioritized source for all the work that needs to be done to deliver a product. So whatever work you do to get your product delivered, so that will be recorded in your product backlog. So whatever you want to search, or whatever we speak about user story, whatever it is, so everything will be there in your product backlog. Okay. So now a product backlog should consist of features. It may have features, it may have enhancements, it may have some defects and non-IT deliverables. So all these things will be there inside your product backlog. Okay. So one example, so that is represented here. So as the mail room, I must scan mortgage applications from the customer so that they can be processed. Okay, so this is an example for what? Any volunteer?
User story.
Yes, exactly. So a simple user story has been given here. So this user story will be present in your where? In your product backlog. Okay, so that is how it is supposed to be, as I told you already. So your product backlog will have all these informations. Okay, so one simple user story is given here. As the mail room, I must scan mortgage applications. So when you say the role here is the mail room. Okay, so mail room is going to so what is the functionality here? Scan mortgage applications. Okay, so from the customer so that they can be processed. So the business value here is it can be processed. Okay, so don't assume that if we say business value, always it should contain numerals. Okay, so it's not so. It is also like a functionality or maybe a dependent task. Okay, so one more example. As a system, I must load scanned images so that they are available to the indexing users. Okay, so one more. So as the indexer, I want to be able to view a list of all applications requiring indexing. Okay, so when you blindly see, so these three may be like an independent task. Okay, but actually what happens, so these three are running in for a one specific goal. Okay, so as you can see, the mortgage application needs to be scanned. Okay, so once if you say it needs to be scanned, so someone should scan the images and they should put it in some place, right? When they put it in some place, someone should reorder it so that if someone asks, so it can be easily fetched. Okay, so as you can see, so this is how a user story will be developed. Okay, so each user story will have so you like this you will develop the whole use cases basically. Okay, so let us see one example. Yeah, so 1 minute, I could not minimize it. Yes, yeah. So what are all the informations do we capture in the product backlog? Okay, so that is what is represented here. The details below provides a guideline to what informations you may want to capture in a product backlog. Okay, so as you can see, there is a two column here. So one represents your item, so which is directly going to be the columns in your product backlog. Okay, so for each user story, you should have all these elements. I mean, on your left, you have some parameters, right? For each user story, you should have all these parameters. Okay, so anyway, the next slide I will show you. So this is an example. Okay, so anyway, we will see to that. But before that, so what are all the things that an user story should have? Okay, first it should have a reference. So reference is nothing but, as usual, it is like your serial number. So it's going to be an unique identifier for your quick referencing. So when you are collaborating it, or maybe when you are sharing it with your some other team. Okay, so obviously you should have something as an unique field which you can easily track this particular user story. Okay, and then the description about what this process is going to be. Okay, so that description you will provide, and then type. So this is what is very important. So whether it's a feature or a new feature, or maybe an enhancement, or it may be a defect. Okay, so from these four you will select one. So what kind of user story it is? Okay, what type of user story it is, whether it's going to be a new feature, or it's going to represent some defect or a drawback in the existing system, or it's going to be like an enhancement for the already given functionality. For example, when you take payment gateway, okay, I say payment gateway is a whole functionality. Okay, if I say in the payment gateway I'm going to add UPI also. Okay, so far you have the credit card and maybe the card paying functionality and net banking. So now I am going to add the UPI also. Okay, so which means that it's going to be an enhancement. Okay, we cannot call it to be a new feature because your functionality is there. You are just going to put an add-on to the existing functionality. Okay, so that is an enhancement to the current functionality. At the same time, okay, assume that there is no payment gateway. So all you have is only the cash on delivery option. Okay, at the time when you say I'm going to add a payment gateway, that is going to be a new feature. Okay, so that is completely different because there is no payment at all. So you are going to provide a new feature to the system, so where the user can easily pay online. Okay, so that is a new feature. So what will come under defect? Okay, so for example, so whenever the user adds product, okay, so adds a number of foods to your cart. Okay, so if it exceeds 8, okay, or maybe there will in your applications always you can see there will be some restrictions, right? So you cannot order, maybe if it is chapati, I can order at most 10. Okay, you cannot place 1000 chapati as an order in your food ordering applications, right? So that should not be the case. Okay, if it allows it, it is actually a defect. So if you, for example, in your online ordering system, for example, will you be able to book some 200 pizzas? Okay, so the answer might be no. So nobody will permit you to order 2000 pizzas altogether. Okay, if it is possible in your system, it needs to be said as a defect. Okay, so at the time you will write your user story saying that, so this is accepting 2000 pizza order. So it is a defect which needs to be addressed immediately. Okay, so like that you will formulate your user story in the product backlog. Fine. So group. So as usual, so this is like you have specified groups for your product. So in which group this particular user story belongs to. Okay, it is like a team. Okay. So relative values. So this is like this is just like a scale of values from 1 to 10. Okay, so where you have your it starts from the lower priority and it goes with the higher priority. Okay, so basically this value is to know. So so sorry, when should I accomplish this one? So what kind of priority this particular user story is having? Okay, so that is what this relative value provides you. So initial estimate. So this initial estimate is nothing but, so this can be in a story point or ideal days. Okay, so story point refers to, so as I already mentioned, so 8 hours or maybe in days also you can say. Okay, so how long this particular task may take. Okay, so adjustment factor, so a summation of factor that may increase the initial estimate. For example, so we cannot say that, okay, so whenever I provide an estimate, I always accomplish my task within that estimated time. Okay, so that may not be the reason. Okay, so for example, you planned a release to be done in 30 days. Okay, after 10 days you feel that the functionality which we have considered, it is taking a lot of time. Okay, so at that time you should say, okay, so this cannot be accomplished in 30 days, probably there may be an adjustment factor, so it may take 5 more days. Okay, so that is what is called as adjustment factor. So that may be, there may be several reasons behind it. Okay, but it is like you anyway you will know about it. Okay, so initially you plan something, but there is some lag in the process, and we know that it cannot be accomplished in the promised time, so there may be an adjustment factor. Okay, so probably I may take 5 days more than what I promised. Okay, so that how you are going to calculate that. Okay, so that is one factor. And then actual estimate, so this is like you initially provided an estimate, and then you have provided an adjustment factor also. So when you add them, so you will get the actual estimate, so how long it has done. Okay, so release, so the release number that the PBI will be included in. So PBI refers to your product backlog item. Okay, so in which release this particular user story should be added. Okay, so that is one. And then sprint iteration, so the sprint that the PBI has been allocated to. So sprint 1, sprint 2, so what are all the tasks that needs to be done, or maybe in other words, in which sprint this particular user story is now allocated. Okay, so in general, so in your project, so we are having sprint 1 and sprint 2. It is not so. In the real, in your real project, you will have plenty of sprints. Okay, so maybe 10 or 20. Okay, so you will have so many, based on the releases, you will go for so many sprints. Okay, you will add functionalities and you go with the upcoming releases. So the user story should contain an information which says, so this particular task has been done in sprint 12. Okay, so that number you will have in your product backlog. And specific notes, so this is additional comments or references, whatever it is, so that will comes in your notes section. Okay, and then status, so status refers to whether this is done or not done. Okay, so similarly it is committed. So has this item been committed by the product owner? I mean, that is, it has been decided that it will be incorporated into the product. Okay, so once, for example, in all the scenario, you cannot expect all the user stories, whatever you have done, to be deployed or to be seen in the product which you have developed. So the answer is no. Okay, so maybe it may be a functionality which can be, or which may be included in the upcoming release also. Okay, so you cannot say all the whatever I have done that needs to be released in the current product itself. The answer is no. Okay, so for that also you will have a field. So now, so I have given you overall idea. So for each user story, what are all the components that may be required? Okay, so I believe, so you may have some 40% of knowledge in whatever I have told you, but when you see this slide, so you will get the 100% out of it. Okay, so whatever you have seen as a first column here, an item. Okay, so the same thing is present in the horizontal as a row here. Okay, so first you can see, so this is actually a sample user story. Okay, so for one sample user story is represented here in a product backlog. Okay, first a user story is having a reference 01, which represents, it's going to be an unique identifier, and then you have the type, so it is a feature or maybe a new feature, or it may be an enhancement, or it's a defect. Okay, so you will have that type there. And then, so in a group, so group, as I told you, it's going to be like it's like your team. Okay, so or maybe so in which criteria it is going to fit in. So it's coming under scanning and imaging. And then, so relative value, so as I told you, so that ranges from 1 to 10. Okay, so which significantly specifies your priority of the business value. Okay, and then you have your initial estimate. So initial estimate, I have given 3 hours to complete this task. Okay, and I say that there is no adjustment factor because it's only 3 hours to do this. Okay, so it's having a higher priority. Okay, fine, no problem. So 3 hours, it is acceptable. Okay, fine. There is no adjustment factor at all. So, and even the estimate, the real estimate is also, the actual estimate is also 3 hours because it's just a simple story which consumes only 3 hours. Okay, so which needs to be done in which release? In the release one, the release number one, this particular functionality needs to be done. So in which sprint? So in sprint one, this particular functionality needs to be done. Okay, status as of now, this is not done. Okay, so this is how your product backlog will look like. So anyhow, so we will share you the template of product backlog. Okay, so for your project also, you need to follow the same process. Okay, so you need to write user stories, and for each user story, you need to calculate these things and you have to represent it. Okay, any doubts here? Students, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let me move on. Okay, so when will you say that the user story is done? Okay, so because in your status you are saying it's going to take two status. Okay, so one is done and the other one is not done. Okay, so when will I say it is done? Okay, so that is actually like an important problem what we will have. Okay, we cannot blindly say this is done. Okay, so the team decides what done means. Okay, so who will write? Okay, so when can we say it is done? Okay, so there is no predefined rules for having done. Instead, so the team, the whole cross functional team should decide, so can we approve or can we say what is done? Okay, so the main criteria may be all tasks or deployment or maybe the development or testings are completed. You cannot blindly say, okay, so this particular functionality has been deployed. Okay, can I mark it to be done? Okay, so if it clears the test cases or maybe testing is not done, so even you will fix it. Okay, so still it is not done. Maybe the developer might have completed the task, but the testing process has not been invoked to them. Okay, at the time also you will keep the task to be in the status not done. Okay, so once everything is done, you will mark it to be done. Okay, and then all acceptance tests are running and are passed. So this is very very important. So you should have, so okay, now I should come back, I should go back. Okay, so this is for one user story. Okay, so you are seeing the status. Now you are going again to going back. So as you can see, so each user story, okay, 1 minute, let me take the laser pointer. So each user story will have so task. Okay, so it can be it can have many tasks. Okay, so each task should get acceptance test to be passed. Only then you can say the whole user story is done. Okay, is that clear? So it is not like the task one is completed, this user story is completed. We will never say that way. So the task or the subtask in all the your user story should get acceptance test to be passed, and then you will mark the status to be done. Okay, so no defect is open. So which means that, so when you say the feature, okay, so if the feature is defect feature, okay, so instead of the type, if you have defect in the particular user story, so you need to ensure that there is no ongoing defect. Okay, so that is also very very important. So product owner has accepted the story. So this is obviously the product owner is the main person here, so who is directly involving with the business. Okay, so he should accept the story. Deliverable to the end user. Okay, so these are all the criteria which you may consider while specifying the meaning or the rule for the status to be marked as done. Okay, is that clear? Students, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So I believe most of you are in the semi-sleepy state. So let me do one exercise. So kindly, so students, please raise your hands. I don't know. Yes, come on, make it fast. Let us count the number of listeners for today. So only 54. Okay, so around 107 students are here, but only 57 are listening. So I wish sweet dreams for the rest of the people. Okay, so let's come back. Okay. Okay, now. Okay, so now now we understand that. So how we can write user stories into your product backlog. Okay, so now that thing is clear. Okay, so now moving to the next part. Okay, so acceptance criteria. So as we have seen, so in each task, so we say that there is an acceptance test. Okay, so when will we say, okay, so what is the primary rule? I will say, okay, so it is accepted or it passed my test. So how will you quantify that? Okay, so that is, so basically this criteria defines the functionality, maybe behavior and performance required by a feature so that it can be accepted by the product owner. Okay, so this is very important. So the key person involved here is the product owner. So he should give the green signal to you, and then only you can say, okay, I have passed this particular task. Okay, so it defines what is to be done so that the developer knows when a user story is complete. Okay, so so as I have already told you, so you can mark the user story to be completed only if it has cleared all the task. Okay, so all the acceptance should be given, I mean all the task in a user story should be given pass, and then only you can mark that specific user story to be done. Okay, so here this is directly involving the developer. Okay, so if there is a developer who is having a user story, okay, so that user story can be marked as an accepted one or a done when there is all the task with an acceptance done, okay, or passed. Okay, now, so how the requirements are defined? Okay, so requirements are defined as a user story, okay, with acceptance criteria and the task to implement the story. Okay, so one thing maybe you may have a question here. Okay, so immediately from where this requirement keyword comes here. Okay, so as I have already told you, so we will not say requirement as a word here. Instead, we will make everything as a user story. Okay, so if you say there is a requirement, we will convert that requirement to a user story. Okay, so the user story should have some acceptance criteria. So when can I say that the user story is done? Okay, so that is what the acceptance criteria says. Okay, so what are all the dimensions? So basically the product owner should accept that user story is done. Okay, so and then, so what are all the tasks that needs to be implemented to accomplish your user story? Okay, so that is the sequence of tasks. Okay, so each and every requirements, it may be an upcoming a requirement for an upcoming release or maybe an ongoing production environment. Okay, so you will accept each and every requirement as a user story. Okay, okay, so that's all from my side today. Maybe so how long we have? Hardly 10 minutes, right? So Agile Manifesto, if we start, so probably we cannot complete it. Okay, so let me give you some more examples for a product backlog. So before going to that, any doubts, students? Any doubts so far? Yes.
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, so okay. Yeah, let me go through this product backlog information, because anyway we are going to provide you these documents and you need to fill this. Okay, so one example has been given here. Okay, so let us take, so as the mail room, I must scan the mortgage application form from the customer so that they can be processed. Okay, so this is actually a requirement. Okay, so the requirement is nothing but, so the scanned image should be kept in some places. Okay, you should scan the image and then you should keep the scanned image in some places. Okay, so this is what is actually the requirement. When you see in our older models in the SRS document, we will say, so there should be a functionality to scan the document. Okay, and the scanned document should be present in a place, and the same document should be accessed by n number of people. Okay, so for example, if you have drawn the ER diagrams, you will understand, okay, how the scanned images travels. Okay, so this is how, in the olden process it will be. Okay, here what exactly we are doing, so we have just formulated an user story out of the given requirement. Okay, and based on the requirement, once the user story is formulated, okay, so there is no need to go back to the requirement document and you are not going to see, okay, so this is the exact requirement which a user has given. Okay, so as we see in agile, okay, so one important aspect, so these user stories are formed, okay, in line with the cross functional team. Okay, which means that everybody will know, so this is how it needs to be, right? Is it clear? Students, do you want me to repeat
Yes.
again? Is it clear? Okay, so this is the main advantage. Okay, so when you see in an older models, so if there is a requirement, so immediately what will you do? So you will go to your SRS document, you will update something and you will let all the people in your team to understand, okay, so this is the added requirement. Okay, so to accomplish this requirement, these developers are working towards it. Once the development is done for that requirement, it will be sent for the testing process, like that you will say. But instead here you add that particular requirement as a user story. Okay, so once you add that user story in your product backlog, so it is having a structured process. Okay, so here you can track everything, right? So this is how you are, you are optimizing the whole process. So, and that is the reason, so everybody is moving or migrating towards the agile process. Okay, so with that note, so let me stop here. I believe we have 5 more minutes. I will stay here for 5 more minutes to take up some questions if you have any. Okay, so before winding up the class, so I'm just giving you a simple assignment. Okay, so you can just Google through, so Agile Manifesto. You will receive some rules. Okay, so some rules and some principle. There will be 12 principles and some 4 instructions will be there. Okay, so just search through and come to the next class. Okay, just type Agile Manifesto. There is a home page where you will see all these 16 keywords and principles. Okay, so just see blindly, just see what it is and come to the next class. So I'm done for the day. If you have any queries or concerns, please let me know.
So you said something
Yes.
as an advantage before structure and optimizing the process. Could you repeat that, please?
I don't know exactly when I told you that.
Just now, so like 1 minute ago, when
Okay.
you were talking about the advantage of
Okay.
an.
Yes. I will tell you. Okay, so the thing is, so once if you add it as an user story, okay, so as you can see here, as a mail room, so which means that there is the role here is going to be your mail room. Okay, so mail room is going to be your user or maybe some application. Okay, that needs to be having a functionality that is scanning image. Okay, so these things you are just making out of an inference from one line statement. Okay, so you have grasped the added requirement in single line. You got it, Manasa? For example, if I am saying that I am going to add a functionality, okay, in your SRS document, where in the SRS document, page number 32, line number 57, I have added one line. Okay, so when you go through the SRS document and when you see that, so you will not understand. So from where this particular line has been added, why it has been added, okay, because we will not specify. So for this particular user, you should give this functionality for achieving this particular task. Okay, in your SRS document, you will not write this way. You got it?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so that is the main advantage here.
Excuse me, sir, for type,
Yes.
can you give examples for enhancement and defect?
Yeah, so I have already mentioned. Yeah, but anyway, I will tell you. Okay, so when you say an enhancement, it is going to add some feature to your existing system. Okay, so that is the same example in a payment gateway. So which means that you have already a payment gateway. Okay, so in a payment gateway, assume that, okay, so now it is getting the payment gateway is constructed with net banking service as well as card services. There is no UPI integration. Okay, so assume that way. Okay, so if I want to add the functionality UPI gateway or UPI payment to this payment gateway, okay, so this is an enhancement to the current system. Okay, we will not say that UPI is not there, so it's a defect. We will not say that way because it is not a defect, but it's going to be just an added functionality to the existing system. Okay, but when it comes to the defect, so there may be a defect in your application itself. So like I mentioned, so in your online food ordering app, so if the the quantity, if the quantity is permitted to be 2000 or 3000 or 10,000, okay, assume that, okay, if the pizza, maybe Pizza Hut, is permitting you to order 10,000 pizzas from your account. Okay, so that needs to be sincerely considered to be a defect, right? You agree with me?
Yes, sir.
If you have money, you can buy, but will it really make sense? Okay, so can I prepare some 10,000 pizzas all of a sudden in a promising time of 1 hour? So the answer is no, right? So that is actually a serious defect. Okay, so you will say, so anyway, this is actually a deployed functionality, but it is a defect, so which needs to be immediately addressed. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, fine.